Top performers are focused. Take the time to visualize them is a state of mind. Clients know within no fear cold calling. At some point or other, every salesperson or business owner has to make some cold calls. Whether it's ringing totally new clients, chasing leads, gaining referrals, networking, or following up on a conference card that was handed in, it's not something that many people are that comfortable with. Being able to cold call confidently, professionally, and effectively will not only open up more potential business for you, it will also allow you to feel more in control of your own destiny and much more empowered. So here are my top 10 tips for cold calling success. Plan and prepare your opening statement. The more individuals and businesses that I work with, the more important that I think this is. I've made tens of thousands of calls, and I've listened to far, far more. And whether cold or indeed warm calling, the biggest problem by far is lack of client engagement. This can be down to several factors, but perhaps the most significant is a failure to plan and prepare a decent opening statement. An opening statement needs an introduction, a what's in it for the client, and a bridge to link to your questions or to your close. Without these, it will just simply be impotent. Make sure that the benefits you offer are A, really benefits, and B, relevant to the person you're speaking to and not just you. My top tip would be to imagine yourself in your client's shoes and then ask, what will this call potentially do for my business and why should I care? Get into the right state of mind and expect success. Unmotivated people do not make good salespeople. Let's face it, who would buy off someone who didn't appear to believe in it themselves? When I work with teams, I'm constantly amazed at the number of salespeople who pick up the phone expecting rejection. It doesn't seem to matter whether they're making cold calls, customer care calls, or follow-up calls. Only a small percentage of top performers absolutely expect success. Attitude and mindset are infectious. Clients know within seconds whether you're congruent with your message or not. I once did a verbal survey with my clients asking them, why did you buy from me in the first place? The overwhelming and surprising at the time answer was, it felt like the right thing to do. Expecting success is a crucial part of your success when cold calling. Know why cold calling is important to you. On a day-to-day basis, most of us forget why we're doing things. We find ourselves cold calling because we have to, or because we're told to. If you want to make changes in your cold calling habits, then it's going to require some commitment, some focus, and some persistence. The best way of leveraging these attributes from yourself is to ask, why is cold calling important to me? What does it do for me? How does it link to my goals and my dreams? When working with individual salespeople and business owners, I can usually tell who will take action and who won't. And it's usually down to whether the individual has a need or a want or not. Holding yourself to a higher standard is hard if you have no reason to do so. Spend some time now and work out, why is cold calling important to me? Practice delivery. Focus on pace, pitch, and tone. When I listen to sales calls, I'm frequently shocked by the message within the message. In face-to-face sales, maybe 55% of the message is non-verbal. On the phone, of course, this element is missing, and this means that the message consists only of the words and how you actually say them. Whilst the words themselves are vitally important, the way you say them will also be directly linked to your ultimate success or failure. Having listened to thousands of calls, I can honestly say that the message behind the message for most calls is, I'm bored, tired, and putting in the numbers. And you're probably going to say no anyway. Would you buy from someone who was saying this to you? Get someone you trust to listen to your calls and give you feedback. Get them to give you feedback on your pace, your pitch, and your tone. What messages are you sending out? Plan and prepare relevant questions. Questions and client interaction are paramount for selling. Most salespeople think that they're good at questioning. Most salespeople are wrong. Planning and preparing good questions is something that all salespeople and business owners should do regularly. Questions are incredibly important because they focus the mind. This is as true when talking to others as it is when talking inside of your own head. Most of us put the focus in the wrong place, both internally and externally, by asking the wrong questions. Imagine ringing a new client, introducing yourself and giving a few benefits. Your client's listening, but they're not on board yet. Now imagine asking questions such as, does that sound like something that would be of interest to you? Or would you be interested in meeting up then? These questions are an absolute waste of time at this stage in the call, and the resounding answer that you will get will be no. Questions need to focus the client's mind on something that you would like them to think about, such as, have you ever had any difficulties with? Or how do you currently go about? Have your support tools to hand. Part of being professional is about being prepared. When you get on the phone, you need your diary, your notes, your paper and your pens. I can't count the number of times I've watched a sales professional start to close for a meeting and then suddenly realise they don't have a diary open or on their desk. One long pause later, rapport and meeting gone. Expect success. Work out what support tools you need to hand and make sure that they are there for you. Divert calls and minimize disruptions. A recent survey studying working habits suggested that the average worker actually works for less than 3 hours in an average working day. And this seems quite high to me. Most people seem to find so many extraneous and irrelevant tasks to do that it's a wonder they ever get anything done at all. If you want to be a sales and business superstar, you need to work out what activities bring me success and then set time aside to do them. Work out your ratios and then work out how many calls you need to make to achieve your personal goals. Once you've done that, get on and make the calls. Most salespeople spend far too much time on the phone. The problem is that they're not focused enough when they are actually on the phone. Try turning off your mobile, diverting your calls, and ask others not to disturb you. Get yourself energized and prepared, and then make a period of top quality, proactive calls. You'll be amazed by how much you can achieve in a relatively short period of time. Set clear objectives for your cold calling sessions. Many salespeople make calls without any objectives or goals. This is a complete waste of time. You need to plan and prepare for all proactive sales sessions. Pre-decide on the activities you're going to do and how you're going to measure them. Set realistic objectives and targets and stick to them. Only this way will you be able to improve and grow. Don't put your phone down. Whether cold or warm calling, it's important that you keep the energy flowing when you're making proactive calls. It's too easy to get distracted, start doing something else, or take ever-increasing breaks between each call. One very effective way of achieving shorter break times and therefore more proactive energy is to not put the telephone down between calls. Not only does this work, but also you save on the psychological energy of having to keep picking the phone up again every call. I also recommend that for many people, wearing a headset increases both your work rate and the energy and the freedom behind your calls. And nearly all salespeople I know who've started to use one actually find that the number of calls they make goes up. Master your physiology. Your physiology is the way you use your body, your posture, your movements, your facial expressions, and your breathing. Changing your physiology changes your mental state. If you were to walk into a room full of salespeople on the phone, would you instantly know if they were up for it or if they weren't? Of course you would. You'd know just by the way they were sitting, moving, talking, and so on. Take a moment now to think about your physiology. Think about the best telephone call you ever made. How were you sitting? Were you standing? How did you move? What were your facial expressions? What vocal patterns did you use? How did you hold your head? What was your breathing like? Did you use a headset or a handset? Get your logbook out now and make a note of your findings. Over the next week, I want you to concentrate on starting all of your telephone sessions from this great physiology and maintaining it throughout. If you find your physiology changing, then get yourself straight back into the right physiology. One other thing, Remember, doing this in front of the others in the office at 8:30 in the morning might feel unnatural. And of course, so will the extra commissions when they come rolling in. But I think you can cope with that. So there we go. 10 tips to help you to be a confident, proactive cold caller. But you know what? One of the biggest challenges people face when they come into my programs and my seminars is not knowing what to do, it's actually doing it. So here's my challenge for you. Get out there, pick the phone up and give it a go.